Honorable members of Parliament, government ministries represented, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I sit before you today filled with a sense of urgency and hope. As we gather for this historic event, the first Mental Health Rights Congress, we are embarking on a journey towards a future where mental health is recognized, prioritized, and protected as a fundamental human right. Today, we take a significant step forward in our journey to place mental health where it rightfully belongs, at the heart of our nation's priorities for peace and development. Allow me to begin with a story, one that resonates deeply with countless families across Cameroon. In the Northwest region, a young man witnesses the unimaginable. His mother killed in a crossfire between government forces and separatist fighters. Overwhelmed with anger and devastation, he picks up arms, driven by trauma and a thirst for vengeance, and persuades his friends to join him in combat. In the far north region, another story unfolds. A young female refugee who fled Boko Haram crisis bears the weight of unspeakable trauma after being gang raped during the conflict. Despite receiving aid and dreaming of rebuilding her life, the untreated scars of the ordeal keep her trapped in isolation, unable to find peace and reconnect with her community. These stories are not isolated. They represent the stark reality faced by thousands of Cameroonians grappling with the devastating impact of conflict, poverty, and instability. Such narratives are familiar to my Afrogiveness team as we work tirelessly to support survivors of conflict, trauma, and intolerance, helping them heal through forgiveness and artistic expression. Their experiences underscore an essential truth. Mental health is both a root cause and a consequence of the profound challenges contributing to our nation. Their struggles demand that we acknowledge the urgent need to prioritize mental health, not only as a health issue, but as a vital component of peace building and national development. The theme of my speech, Mental Health Legislation for Peace and Development, underscores the critical role of our laws in addressing one of the most pressing but overlooked challenges of our time. Mental health is not just a health issue. It is a peace issue, a development issue, and above all, a justice issue. Honorable members of Parliament, peace is not merely the absence of war. It is the presence of justice, healing, and well-being in every community. The connection between mental health and peace cannot be overstated. Conflict and trauma are intertwined, creating cycles that destabilize communities and hinder reconciliation. Here in Cameroon, the crisis in the Northwest and Southwest region and in the far north have left thousands with deep psychological wounds. These wounds, unseen yet deeply felt, do not disappear. They linger, often manifesting as anger, depression, and eventually fuel mistrust, violence, conflict, and instability. To break these cycles of violence, we must prioritize mental health in our peace-building efforts. Research from across Africa shows how integrating mental health support into post-conflict reconstruction can prevent the reemergence of violence. Programs that provide trauma counseling for displaced persons, ex-combatants, and survivors of violence can rebuild lives and restore social cohesion. This is evidenced in the case of Rwanda, where integrating mental health into post-conflict reconstruction helped to heal societies and foster reconciliation. Cameroon too can embrace this approach. Mental health, often overlooked and stigmatized, is a critical determinant of our well-being, our productivity, and the overall peace and development of our nation. The impact of mental health challenges on individuals, families, and communities cannot be overstated. From the silent struggles of depression to the debilitating effects of anxiety and psychosis, mental health is an issue that affects every one of us. Addressing mental health could be our pathway to sustainable peace. Drawing from UNESCO's most cherished concept that since wars begin in the minds of men and women, it is in the minds of men and women that the defenses for peace must be constructed. It is safe to deduce that sustainable peace can only happen when everyone has a sound mental health. Beyond peace, mental health is a cornerstone of development. The World Health Organization defines mental health as a state of well-being in which every individual realizes his or her full potential, can cope with the normal stresses of life, can work productively and fruitfully, and is able to make a contribution to his or her community. Our nation can only achieve its full potential if our people are well. Poor mental health costs the global economy $1 trillion annually, $1 trillion, and Cameroon bears its share of this burden. Workers grappling with depression or anxiety are less productive. Students struggling with untreated mental health conditions underperform, jeopardizing the promise of a skilled and educated workforce. Investing in mental health is not just a moral imperative, it is an economic necessity. Every dollar spent on mental health yields a fourfold return in increased productivity and well-being. For Cameroon, this means stronger communities, healthier families, a more resilient nation, and a brighter future. Unfortunately, despite the direct link between mental health, peace, and development, Cameroon has no stand-alone mental health law. Mental health remains neglected, suspected, and stigmatized. Persons with mental health conditions face widespread discrimination, stigma, prejudice, violence, abuse, social exclusion. Some face unlawful or arbitrary institutionalization, over-medicalization, treatment practices that are not in tune with human rights laws. The consequences of neglecting mental health are far-reaching. It has led to violence, conflict, and instability. Our neglect of mental health has hindered economic growth and social progress. Honorable members of Parliament, it is clear that the time has come for Cameroon to enact its first comprehensive mental health law. A mental health law is not just about service, it is about justice, it is about dignity, and it is about inclusion. Such a law should define what a mental health condition is. It should protect the rights and state the responsibilities of persons living with mental health condition. It should protect the rights and define the responsibilities of mental health practitioners and psychiatrists. It should regulate the practice and treatment of mental health. It should regulate the administration of mental health in Cameroon. It should define the allocation of resources for mental health. It should protect the rights of communities in the face of mental illness. And it should ensure that mental health is an essential part of peace and development programs. As lawmakers and policymakers, you hold the power to shape our nation's destiny. You can ensure that mental health is no longer an afterthought, but a central pillar of our development strategy. By championing mental health legislation, you will be safeguarding the future of millions of Cameroonians and building a legacy for peace and progress. Imagine a Cameroon where every young person can dream without the shadow of untreated trauma. A Cameroon where every displaced person finds healing and every family finds peace. As we come here today for this Mental Health Congress, let us make a commitment to action. Together, we can create a nation where mental health is a priority, not an afterthought, a right, not a privilege, and a foundation for peace and development. The work begins today with all of us in this room. Let history remember that we do not stand idly by. Let history remember that we acted with courage, compassion, and conviction. Thank you for your attention, your leadership, and your commitment to building a better Cameroon. Together, we can achieve a future where every mind matters. Thank you.